Hello and welcome back to JD Solar and EV channel. Following my last video about the economics of 10-year costs of petrol versus hybrid versus EVs, I've decided to see if I could find the tipping point for an electric or hybrid car versus a petrol car. And for this I'm going to choose the Hyundai i30 Go versus the Ioniq range rather than the cars I've used last time that were all fully optioned. So let's get into the figures. Okay, so the assumptions that we're making for this 5-year comparison is that we're doing 15,000 kilometers a year, and the depreciation after 5 years will be 50%. I've done the maintenance costs, I've worked out the rego costs, insurance and fuel consumption already. That was helped in part by doing the previous video. But just down in this area here, I've done the maintenance for the i30 and the Ioniq plug-in and electrics just for 5 years this time, and I've just changed a slight few variables. Maybe I had the wiper blades a bit more expensive than they should have been. I've also removed the brake pads and factored in cap price servicing, which offsets the labor cost involved with the servicing. You still have to pay for parts. And down here you can see the values. The i30 and hybrid and plug-in are all very similar, and the only real variance is that the electric doesn't have some of these extra bits like engine oils and stuff like that. So they're all plugged in already. Rego was the same for the 4 cylinders, only the electric was a bit cheaper. So for the insurance, I've used the RACQ quote mechanism on the website and plugged in my details, so it might vary a little bit for yourselves, but essentially the i30 is extremely cheap to insure at only $395 per year, and the plug-in hybrid and the hybrid were $537 and the EV was just under $550. I've put a little bit of depreciation on that over time for 5 years and calculated the yearly cost, so you can see them there. And for fuel economy, once again I've used the Australian Green Vehicle Guide that you can pop in the vehicle's details and find out the fuel consumption. And I already had the Ioniqs from the previous video, so I only needed the i30, and we're going to use 7.1 litres per 100 for our evaluation. One other small part that I wanted to add was if you charged your electric Ioniq up to with 50% of the power coming from solar and 90% of the power coming from solar, just to see if that makes any economic difference. So now let's have a look at fuel. The i30 is using $13,000 worth of petrol over 5 years, which isn't that great of an amount. At 7.1 litres, that's pretty economical. But as you can see, when it comes to the hybrids and the EVs, they're using a lot less, and when you factor in powering some of your electric vehicle from solar, here we get quite a difference. So this time around I've just changed it up a bit, so what I've done is show you the difference between the i30 and the other vehicles. So we look at the total costs excluding depreciation, you can see that the i30 is significantly cheaper. So compared to the hybrid, it's 13,000, compared to the plug-in it's 18,000, and compared to the electrics and the solar offsets it's 21,000. So still a large premium that you're going to have to pay for being an early adopter. And if you really consider that the i30 Go in that form is 23,000, just the cost saving just isn't there at the moment from less maintenance and and less fuel cost. So unfortunately, it's not a good story at the moment. You're still paying a premium if you want to go electric, and you're doing it possibly for other reasons, such as environmental reasons and that type of thing. So when we factor in depreciation as well, the story doesn't get any better. The hybrid is 20,000, the plug-in's 29,000, and the electrics are $33,000 difference. So having a bit of a look at these figures before making this video, it became really apparent that it's actually the fuel cost that makes the largest difference. The maintenance is very similar, the rego is similar, the insurances aren't extraordinarily different. So the fuel is where you can save a fair chunk of cost, up to what, $5,500 on top of an economical Hyundai i30. But the fact that you have to pay, you know, double the ticketed price of the i30 in the first place, you just cannot recoup that at the moment. So where is the tipping point? Well, to calculate that, what we're going to do is, it's really quite simple, is that we take the cost of the car that we're comparing it to, and we add the total fuel saving that we can get. So really we're looking at $28,500, because all the other values are pretty similar, has been the tipping point. So if you can get an Ioniq Electric and offset it with 90% solar generation and save yourself $5,500, then if you buy that for $28,500, that's the same as buying an i30 Go for $23,000. We obviously have to get the prices down a bit closer to parity before things actually start to work out economically. Well, that's it for this episode, so thanks again for watching, and if you'd like to challenge any of my assumptions in this video, please leave a comment. Join me next time where I update the available EVs for 2019 and have a look at the long list of EVs that are coming out in the next couple of years. So until then, catch you later.